be off and running.
All right, are you guys ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready for some football?
Let's do it. Let's talk
Are you
some
ready
football.
for some football?
Hey, Tuesday night party.
There you go.
There you go. Hank does it so much better.
Dylan's dancing in the background.
Is that right? Sweet.
All right, boys, let's talk some football. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Welcome into the Pigskin Pricks. It's the usual crew here on this beautiful evening or morning, whenever you're actually listening to this. Now, we're going to do some more division picks. We're doing the NFC. But first, we always start with what's on the beer menu. So, Joe, what do you got for us today?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. I chose a brewery that's local, and it's Cross Strain Brewery. It's right here in Nebraska. And they've got some really, really good beers there. I'm actually impressed with some of their IPAs. And as you guys know, I'm not huge into hops and not a huge IPA fan, but they do them really well. This is actually a German-style lager called Hell's Creek, and it's new. I hadn't tried it before tonight, and I really like German-style lagers. I mean, that's kind of what my wheelhouse. Those are the kinds of beers that I choose to drink. So my rating on this will actually surprise you. I'm going to give it a 6.3. I just didn't. I don't know what it is. It's got a certain taste that it just kind of turns me off. It's not a 5. So if someone was to buy me one, I certainly wouldn't turn it down. I would accept it. But it's probably not something that I would go into Cross Strain and order. Again, it's a drinkable beer, but it's not. I wouldn't put it on the top of my list. It's not knocking my socks off. It's not. It doesn't have any of those attributes. So yeah. I mean, it's just okay.
This is the lowest rating one I think you've had on the show. So
no, actually, the Pink Elephant. I believe I gave a 5.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Delirium.
All right, that's right.
Delirium Red. That's what it was. Yeah.
All right. Well, John.
So first, I actually am drinking a beer. You guys probably knew that because you saw me drinking it.
Yes, we did actually.
No frosty waters for me.
Could have been ginger ale.
So I am drinking a Sweetwater. Since Joe didn't do it,
does that say 420 on it?
That's a 420 strain.
Yes.
G13 IPA.
Gotcha.
So I don't know why they went down this route because I've had other Sweetwaters that I don't think have any specific names that reference like 420.
Yeah.
But I had a visitor, a family friend, come up last week and really liked Sweetwaters of this variety pack, which were all kind of that theme. And I'll tell you, this one is not the one. I don't even remember which flavor it was, but one of them, you cracked that can open and it smelled like folks were smoking, dude. I was outside and one of them was drinking one inside, and I walked in and I was like, "What is that smell?" Holy shit! The first one I opened, I was outside, so I just didn't notice it. And I mean, it's just the way they make it appear. Something I found out from my local brewery, Damascus Brewery, while I was there. I've advertised some of their beer as far as a review before. They said that hops is actually from the same family as hemp. So I guess it's not that surprising that you could get it to have a similar taste and smell characteristic. This one's not quite so bad.
I'd like that one.
I actually was thinking these are beers for heaven. So, Dude, if you can find it, their whole pack has an interesting thing. But like I said, that one, holy shit, it has I think it has like a green line or white up around the top.
All right.
You'll know by the name. You'll just see it and you'll be like, oh.
That's the one.
That's
got to be the one. And then you'll crack it open and you'll be like, whoo-wee.
Oh, sweet Mary.
So
I've never had any of the Sweetwaters.
Yeah.
I've never tried any of those.
I'm just trying to remember what the standard name was, and maybe they're all like this, and I just didn't realize it because they weren't as heavy.
Is it Sweetwater Brewing Company? Or what's the brewing company?
Yeah, exactly. Sweetwater Brewing Company, and this is the 420 strain. I got to read this out because it was pretty funny. We took an already dank IPA and married its hops with strain-specific terpenes and natural hemp-type flavor.
Wow.
The result is an aromatic, super hybrid, sticky IPA that's ready to rip. So, and that's not even like I said, that's not even the wild one. So it's pretty good. I like IPAs. It's not as fruity because they made it a little more, maybe they're sticky hemp flavoring, but it's pretty good. It's better than, what'd you say, a 6.3 or something you gave, Joe?
That's what I gave.
God, I think I can give this a solid 7. That's where I'm going to stand.
7?
Do I go quite to a 7? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
And in general, I like Sweetwater. They have one that they were after is they have I'll have to do it one time, a mango one. Mango something. It's freaking great.
All right.
Because it's not too bad. But, yep, another nice, interesting beer.
There we go. I like that.
Outside of that,
I like
look at that. Look at that nice color and head. That's a
beautiful
beer.
All right, I respect it. Good. And there we go. I'm gonna look for that one.
And of course, go ahead. Sorry, Evan.
I was just saying I'm gonna look for that one if I ever go shopping for beer. So
that's if you're not drinking your water, which I bet you are drinking yet again. Look at that. He's such
come July,
reliable person.
When we come up there, we're gonna be drinking.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
so,
I'm ready.
prepare for it, bud.
Okay.
You better have your Sweetwater ready there, Evan.
All right, fair enough. I'll get them.
That's cool.
All right. Well, let's move into football, gentlemen.
Let's do it.
We're doing division winners. We did the AFC last episode, and so we're moving in the NFC. And I want to start in the dumpster. We're going to the NFC East, the worst division in football.
I love it.
Now we got to start with the bottom and work our way up. So let's do just that. I don't want to pick a division winner.
I think this is easy.
It is. I don't want to pick anybody, but I mean, are we all in consensus? It's going to be the Dallas Cowboys.
Of course.
Yes.
I mean, the Giants suck. Philly sucks. Redskins suck. And Dallas. Well, now I will. Dallas. They're with them getting CeeDee Lamb. That him falling to them and then having Amari Cooper on the other side with Zeke in the backfield, that's dangerous. I don't care what team you're talking about, but it's going to be especially dangerous in the NFC East because everybody else there sucks. I mean, they're horrible. Now, I'm not saying Dallas may do better than a 9-7 record, but that'll be good enough to win the NFC East.
Right. I mean, we're talking shit on them, but Philly did win the division last year.
I know. I get it.
But I think Dallas had a much better draft and should have had a better season. They just didn't.
They had Jason Garrett as their coach.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Well, there is a trade-off. They do have a new coach, so that could affect them, but I'm still – I mean, sometimes that's a fall-off. Right, I think they're fine.
A good offensive coach.
They're probably going to be rejuvenated with him.
I actually don't like him as a head coach.
I don't either.
But that doesn't mean he can't coach.
He did win. He won a Super Bowl. I mean, he had Aaron Rodgers as quarterback, and so they're bound to eventually win a Super Bowl. At least
tends to help the process. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, we're all in consent. I will say, I think we see an improvement from the Giants. They're not a 3-13, 4-12 team, but I think they could reach a 6-10, 7-9 level.
I'll tell you,
they're gonna. I like Daniel Jones improving this year.
If they had better wide receivers and a better O-line, then I'd say watch out because I really think they would contend for the division. But they just didn't really make any strides at wide receiver, and they got a little help at O-line, but not enough to help Daniel. Because Jones, I mean, being that young, you need some guys up front to protect you, and Saquon needs some guys to block for him. And as good as Saquon is, and we all know how good he is, you still got to have blockers up front.
Exactly.
So I think, but give him time. If Joe Judge is able to build that, I think eventually down the road they'll go somewhere.
A year or two.
Yeah, if I were to pick a dark horse that I don't think would be, but a fun dark horse, it'd be the Giants.
The Giants,
because they could surprise you this year. Second-year quarterback,
they
could start to gel. You never know what could happen. But again, I'm going with Dallas. Not only that, but we didn't really talk about it because I just like the AFC. I didn't even go look at strength of schedule. I did, and you guys probably know this, but Dallas has a 30th or 30th in overall strength of schedule. So they got it given to them anyway, I think. And of course, they're playing their own division. That's probably part of why it's so easy.
There's 6 wins right there.
Exactly.
I mean, come on, stupid simple.
But it just seems like this is a gimme where the other teams in the same division don't have that kind of strength schedule. I mean, Giants are close. Philly's not even much further up, but still not that good. Not that easy.
Right.
Definitely.
And Washington just sucks, so we don't even have to talk.
Yeah, we're not even going to bother with them.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Although we will mention Kyle Allen.
Yes, well, Kyle Allen.
One bright spot.
You never know. I'm surprised John didn't pick him as a dark horse to go to the Super Bowl. Kyle Allen's going to lead him to the promised land.
He's going to break the touchdown record.
No shit. 50
he's going to have more rushing
10,000 yards.
Kyle Allen's going to have more rushing touchdowns than Lamar Jackson. Yeah, well, that's what he's going to do.
All right.
That's right. There you go.
For the other team, that is.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Let's get out of Kyle Allen and the NFC East.
Please.
Let's move to the North. All right.
Oh, fun.
Let's move to the North, and then we'll go south and then west, whatever.
You're driving the
North,
bus, Evan. You're driving the bus, man.
Take us,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm thinking Minnesota. I know last year Green Bay won the division. I think we see Green Bay regress a little bit. I mentioned that in the draft episode. Even though I like their draft, I like the guys they took.
That was evident.
Yes, it was evident. I like Minnesota. I think even though they lost Stephon Diggs, I think they're the best overall team. They got a strong defense. They got a solid offense. You know, they're starting to really gel as a team. I like Kirk Cousins leading that team. I don't know. Minnesota's just looking like a good pick. I think they're an 11-5 football team.
Yeah. John, you want to go next, or you want me to take it?
Are we all going to go with the same team again? I'm
Well,
going with Minnesota. Here's the surprise, folks. I was born there. I like them.
Yeah.
I cheer for them a lot, even when I hate their quarterback.
Yeah.
They do have the 10th hardest strength of schedule, tied with somebody else in Los Angeles. But still, I think they're good.
The Bears are horrible.
Yeah.
Well, right. Bears and
The Lions are horrible.
The only other
And
team is Green Bay. And
Yeah,
Green
and the
Bay,
Packers, I think you're right. I think
Gonna make the wild card.
they're going to regress this year. They're going to take steps
they're
back.
not going to beat the Vikings. That's
No.
not for
No.
the division anyway. They're going to be a good team, but not take the Vikings down.
Yeah, and I actually picked in that episode. I actually picked the Packers not even to make the playoffs.
I know.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember you saying
So
that.
I just
You
don't
definitely
think,
like the Vikings. Yep.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yep. Good. Thank you. I
And
appreciate that.
that's one of those where I love to pick a dark horse, but they're just so
There's just
shitty.
none. There's none.
And there's just is none that you can pick. I mean, at least Miami. Wait, I mean, I could say there's an inkling of a chance. There's none in the East. There's none in the North.
Yeah.
It's just, that just.
Well,
is
you
the-
could say Green Bay, and some people wouldn't heckle you for it. I would, but some people would.
yeah, I think.
It's-
I mean, some people
That's
are upset
possible.
we're not talking about Green Bay as winning the division, and
We know
They
who
could
would.
shock
You know
us.
who would pick Green Bay? It's Harrison.
Harry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If Harry was in here, yeah, he'd be all over him.
yeah,
All right.
we needed somebody to be wrong. We should have called him up.
Yeah,
I know.
seriously.
We
Nah,
should have got
man.
him on the horn.
Well, let's go to the South. I think one of us. I think we're not going to be all in consensus on the South.
That's a
good.
guarantee.
I think you're right.
This is a great debate, and for a while, I was on the Saints. I thought, Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, that offense, they're looking good. But what the Buccaneers did, their
I know.
offense is dynamic.
I know.
Dynamic.
I know.
Better than the Saints. Their
I know.
defense is looking good.
Yeah.
I got to go with the Buccaneers.
Dude, me
winning that
too.
division.
You knew I was going all over the Bucks. John thinks I'm in love with Brady. I actually, what I like
I'm the
about
Patriots fan. I should be.
I know.
Well,
Well,
no, because he left. You should be upset with him now.
what I
Oh,
like
never.
what I like about the Bucks is that Bruce Arians has done this. He's taken an old quarterback and he's gone to the Super Bowl. And he had the same defensive quarter in Arizona as he does down in Tampa Bay. Them bringing Gronk on, that was huge. I don't care how old the guy is. He's arguably the best tight end ever to play the game. And, when you add him, you bring him back in with Brady, but now Brady's got these studs. I mean, absolute studs on the outside. I mean,
Evans
Jesus Christ. And Godwin. I mean,
and Godwin.
that's just nasty. And I understand that the Saints are going to be good. I like Drew Brees. Michael Thomas could be the best receiver in the football right now. They've got, their running back. Come on, guys. They're insanely good. I just don't know. Do I think they could fight for the division? I absolutely think they will. I think they'll split this year. I think Tampa will win one. I think New Orleans will win one. But I think at the end of the year, Tampa will win it by a slim margin. I gotta give New Orleans that much credit because they've earned that.
Yeah.
I just think that what Tampa Bay has done up to this point is more than what the Saints have done, and I think it will pay dividends at the end of the year. And that's kind of where I come there. But no, if Brady fell and broke his leg, that'd be okay.
Well, then it's all over. Of
I
course.
just hope it's before they play the Chiefs. I mean, you know.
What do you think, John?
We know where John's going. He's going
let
to
us hear.
Carolina.
Well, I want to hear. Oh, yeah.
Well, first thing I wanted to say is, Joe, did I see Bruce's hand come up from behind you and like tickle your ear?
Just maybe.
Yes, you did.
You had a big smile on your face when you were mentioning his name. I'm a little
you know what? I'm
concerned.
sorry. I like Bruce Arians. Yeah, he's a great coach.
Yeah, I think he likes you too.
He may. He may. I hope he does.
No, I'm not picking Carolina. There's another team in the division with a coach that's taken the team and the quarterback to the Super Bowl and won it.
Yes.
And that's the New Orleans Saints, who also happen to have a very nice 24th hardest or 8th easiest schedule versus Tampa Bay, who's tied for 16th. So I like that. I think that's a really good thing. I don't think Tampa or the Saints have done really anything wrong to lose where they were last year, which was winning the division title. And, you know, they were pretty damn close to pulling it off again. They're just every year they're winning and going to the playoffs every year. So to say that Tampa's going to just show up the first year as they're trying to gel a bunch of new bodies together and personalities and players and just be magic, man, if they do, you guys are right, and hooray. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think if Brady's actually there next year, they got a better shot because then that team's been around a little bit longer, and I think they're going to kind of all be on the same page and look out. So, yeah, it's going to be close. Tampa's going to be a pretty good team. I hate to say it. They're going to be pretty good, but not as good as the Saints. And so the Saints are going to pull it off.
Okay, fair enough. I think we can all agree it'll be a dogfight.
Yes,
it'll be a dogfight. It'll be entertaining.
Oh, I love it.
They come down to the last week.
I love it. I can't wait to watch those games. Actually, those are
week one.
games, and you know those are primetime games. I mean, they're if not, they'll be moved up. Because everybody wants to see these matchups and whatnot. And I'm excited to bring Harry back on the show because I really want to talk about the betting portion.
Yeah, definitely.
Of that. I want to bet on those games too. So it'll be fun to do that.
All right, let's move into the West. We only have a few minutes left, and this is where I want to bring up Dark Horse. Okay. Now, I'm going to equate it to your Miami pick on the AFC East.
I know exactly where you're going.
And I'm going to say the Arizona Cardinals is the team to look out for in the NFC West.
Amen.
Now,
I like that pick.
Is there realistically the 49ers are still going to be good? However, they did lose Emmanuel Sanders. They did lose DeForest Buckner. And what did the Arizona Cardinals do this offseason? Well, they got Isaiah Simmons in the draft. They added DeAndre Hopkins. You have Kyler Murray going into year 2. I think he's going to take a similar leap that, Lamar Jackson made in his year 2. Doesn't mean Kyler Murray is going to necessarily win NFL MVP by any means, but he could be a good bet. If you wanted to put some money on a guy, maybe throw it on Kyler Murray. I just think this team is going to make a big leap, and they're going to be contending for a playoff spot. Yeah. And, I think the 49ers are going to regress a little bit. I don't think the LA Rams are all that great. The Seahawks, they're always consistent, but they're sort of a 9-7, 10-6 type of team. So really, Arizona Cardinals, I think they have some potential. They could really make some noise and surprise a lot of people. So that's my pick.
Okay. I'll tell you what, man. I like your pick. You're right. It's like my Miami pick. That the chances.
I don't think it's as wild as
are slim to none. But yeah, I would say they're better than my Miami pick.
Yeah,
the odds, but not by much. I mean, look, they're not going to win the division this year. They certainly could. I mean, things would have to go perfectly for them to do so. But yeah, watch out in the years to come because shit's going to get crazy in Arizona. But for this year, I got to go with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, okay. I think the 49ers, they do regress. I think they've made some mistakes, and I don't think they filled the holes that they've lost. The Seahawks, not that they've made any huge moves. I just have a lot of trust in Russell Wilson. I watched him play. I lived in Seattle when they won the Super Bowl. I like Pete Carroll as a coach. They have a winning philosophy up there, and I just think that's enough to propel them back in to win the division. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not. I mean, I don't know that they're that good, but they are good enough to win the division, and so I've got to go with my Seattle Seahawks for the West.
All right,
I like both those picks. Just because the Arizona one's interesting.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree. They're going to be a talented team at some point.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, in the division, the team with the hardest strength of schedule is the 49ers at number 4. Yeah. And I think they're going to have a Super Bowl hangover, even though they lost. They're just not going back. Yeah. They're not going back next year. It's just not going to happen.
To the Super Bowl or the playoffs?
They're not going to the Super Bowl. That's what they're not doing. And they will likely make the playoffs, but they could fall hard. They really could. I just could see it. I mean, after getting that close and being, having everything go right for them, that's a team that might just really struggle next year. And then, the next hardest strength of schedule in that division is the Cardinals. And they weren't the best team in the division. So I think they're going to struggle. The Rams are right behind them. And then the team with the easiest, though not easy, at 13 is Seattle Seahawks. And that is also the team I like. In looking at that, I really had to think about it, too. That one was the last division I picked because I was like, ooh, it could be easy to say San Francisco, but I just don't think it's that one.
Yeah.
And then who do you go with after that? And, again, the Rams didn't do anything that great last year either. So Seattle, they just are consistent enough, and they put up good fights. Did they split one with San Francisco last year?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought they did. Any team that could beat them, that's the team.
They won in San Francisco, actually.
Yeah, so
and then got beat at home. So
I like them. I definitely see them going to the playoffs.
Yeah.
You could even say what team could beat them to get into the Super Bowl, and it would be maybe the Saints. Or the Vikings.
Tampa Bay.
You could say Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Saints.
Yeah.
It's not the Cowboys.
Fine.
The Cowboys are going to get their ass handed to them by them.
The probably
could have a good game too against them. So it would be interesting.
Yeah.
So to say they're going to make the Super Bowl is a little trickier, but I definitely see them, making the playoffs. So
yeah, for sure.
So, I think the NFC is wide open this year in terms of who's going.
Yeah, for sure.
You have your favorites in terms of making the Super Bowl, the Saints and Buccaneers, but I wouldn't be surprised if you throw out these other teams like the Seahawks, the Vikings, even a team like the Cardinals, if they really step up, making a deep playoff push. Go their way.
What about our wild card picks, boys?
I was waiting. I'm ready.
All right.
You want me to start?
Sure.
Yeah, you can start.
Okay. Well, because I picked the Seahawks, it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals. They're my wild card pick. I think they are going to make the playoffs. Evan, you said it a while back, 9-7. I think that's completely realistic for this team. John, you're right. They do have a harder schedule that could hinder them a bit. But I think they could certainly be there. I'm not going to pick New Orleans as my wild card, because I think New Orleans, you're right, has a shot to win their division, and so they're not. I don't really consider them a wild card. Yeah, so I think Arizona's more of a wild card team, for sure. So that's who I got to go with.
Okay. Well, I would definitely say it's interesting because I agree that the Saints are definitely making the playoffs. I already picked the Cardinals to win the division. So, we have 3 wild card teams.
That's right.
Who are making the playoffs this year. And I would say the Saints are going to be one of them. And then I think the others are coming out of the NFC West. I think it's going to be the Seahawks. I think the 49ers are still going to be good. I think both those teams are going to be right in the midst of it in terms of making the playoffs. So, maybe you could have the Packers sneak in one of those spots, but, I think it's going out west. Like the NFC West might have 3 playoff teams. So that's what I'm going to say. Seahawks and 49ers are sort of the outside of the Saints, the teams to make it in.
Okay. So interestingly enough, this time we were, in almost every division, we had maybe one person go off in a different direction. So if we're off, guys, we're going to miss them all. This is going to be ugly. Yep. So I'm going to go way outside of what you guys have said just to throw something out there because to get some coverage. And actually, I think it's a team that's going to make the playoffs. I said it before. It's one we've kind of talked about. And I think Green Bay's going. So I'm going to pick them as my wild card team.
It's not a bad pick.
Not a crazy pick, right? And then I don't think any of them are. I think the one that's the hardest reach would be saying Arizona is going to go. Not that they won't or can't. Just I think that's the one where
you got to make that leap.
You're putting your balls on the line a little bit more with those guys, and then some of these other pickers. And I obviously could say Tampa, but same reason you guys did. I decided to not pick some teams that you guys said they are going to be the division winners because we're just doubling up. Let's throw somebody else into the mix here.
Definitely.
Right. Well, and look, and the Saints aren't a bad pick. I mean, obviously they won the division last year, so it's not like you went crazy on us.
That's what I'm just saying. It's just we were really tight. Like two divisions, we all agreed. The other two guys, and we flipped it. Two guys were one team, one guy was the other team.
That's what happens when you have a conference that sucks this bad. It has so many shitty teams.
Well, so many shitty and just a few good teams. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
the thing.
That's what
all the really are stacked in the same divisions. Like I feel like all the teams we really emphasized in this episode are in two divisions.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Saints and the Buccaneers, talking about the NFC West. Like,
right.
It feels wide open. It feels like there's some real strength in just a couple of divisions. And then you have NFC East. It's just, it's garbage. So
it's a shit show.
Okay. So since we picked the divisions for both AFC and NFC, do we want to throw out AFC champ, NFC champ, and Super Bowl winner while we're here? Or do we want to save that for a later episode? I mean, obviously it would be that and then a bunch of other things to talk about. I think we should get them out there right now.
Let's get them out there right at that.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Start? You start, John.
I'll start. I brought it up. So I'm going to say the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the division, and they're going to play against – this is tough. This one I'm really struggling with. They are going to play against the Saints. That sounds like a fun game. That's why I'm picking it. That would be a lot of fun because I think it'd be a lot of firepower.
So you're picking the Saints to win the NFC Championship.
Saints against Chiefs to get in the Super Bowl together, right? I was gonna maybe say who's gonna win the Super Bowl. I thought let's throw it off there, but of course I'm gonna say the Chiefs are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Of course,
of course, I gotta have to, but
sure.
It's gonna be a hell of a game. That would be a lot of fun. So there's my picks.
Okay. Ev, you want to go next, or you want me to take it?
Sure. I'm going to say the Tampa Buccaneers are going to the Super Bowl. We're going to have the first home-hosted Super Bowl. They'll be at home, and they're going to be playing the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry.
I'm surprised he didn't say New England Patriots, just because why that would be fun.
I have to see Jarrett Stidham in action before I can pick him going to the Super Bowl.
I get it.
I said he's making the playoffs. I said he's winning the division. Mm-hmm. To say he's winning the Super Bowl would be a lot.
Well, you are a fan, so I would have given it to you. I wouldn't have said they're gonna.
Once the season gets going and I see him lighting up the league like I expect him to, then I might change it up. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers and the Ravens. I like what both of those teams did. They both had great off seasons. The Ravens got stronger, and they were the number one team in the AFC, in terms of their record last year.
Yep.
Okay.
I see them improving, and I think Tom Brady takes the Buccaneers to the promised land.
Okay.
7 rings.
Okay, I love it. So here's what I'm going to say. I think the Chiefs beat Indianapolis in the AFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl.
Indianapolis.
I think
nice. He even picks who they're playing. That's awesome.
I think that the Seahawks play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game, and the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl and play the Kansas City Chiefs.
That would be a fun game too.
Yep.
Who wins?
So that's my Chiefs. They're unbeatable. I'm a homer. Listen,
right.
You asked me, I'm going to tell you the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the game. But I honestly think that Indy's going to be there. I think the Chiefs are going to beat them in the AFC Championship game. And
I didn't mention who would be in the AFC Championship game, but I think the Buffalo Bills will be there. So
okay.
There we go. There we go.
That's interesting.
I'm throwing them out there.
Yeah.
Giving the Bills some love.
I love it.
Although they're a wild card. They're not winning the division.
Right.
I would throw it as Baltimore and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and I'd say just to give it back now, it's going to be Seattle and the Saints. That's who's going to be in the NFC.
You know what would be a fun NFC Championship game, and we're almost out of time here, but Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I'm hoping that's an NFC.
Oh,
that would be great.
Classic.
I about said that, and then I'm like, no, I'm just not going to give you guys that bone.
I'm not going to
get you that far. I'm going to let. I got to keep shutting them down. Yep.
I'll tell you what. If that happens, then we're gonna. The three of us are gonna get together in one place, and we're gonna have a show during that game.
Okay.
That's what's gonna happen.
Here's the thing:
if
one of our teams in both divisions picks are there. We gotta get together. That's If they have to both, right? If at least because we didn't pick that many. It's like if one, but it has to be in each division. So we got to have at least one in the NFC and one in the AFC.
Right.
We're getting together for that because that'll be a blast. Because it's down the line. Because if that one team won in each one, somebody's right. Yeah. It's like there we go.
Yep.
All right. Let's make it happen.
Cool.
Let's make it happen.
Be fun.
All right. Well, if any listeners have any questions or comments or some hate mail towards us, or you think we're full of crap and our picks suck, let us know at pigskinpricks@gmail.com, and we will kindly respond.
Or not kindly.
Or
you know.
Who knows? Just send us an email. We'd like to.
Sounds good.
All right, guys.
All right. Sweet. Take care, guys.
We'll see you next time.
All right.